Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game between 120 versus Moon. This game taking place here on Concealed Hill. We have 120 spawning as the red undead on the bottom left hand side of the map. Meanwhile, we have Moon spawning as the blue night elf on the top right hand side. Night elf versus undead. China versus South Korea in this 1v1 matchup. How will all of these things be unraveling and unfolding? Let's just take a look and see what we can expect from these players. Moon most likely will be opening up with an Ancient of War, Archers, and a Keeper of the Grove that seems to have become his go-to strategy as of late. I'm expecting 120 to open up with Altar of Darkness, Crypt, eventually get a Graveyard right in this position here, and go into Crypt Fiends. We'll see if my predictions are true or if Moon or 120 will perhaps throw me a bit of a curveball. Altar of Darkness now training up. Well, nope, not quite yet. Waiting for that Ziggurat, and it is going to be a Death Knight coming in from 120. Meanwhile, we are in fact looking at a Keeper of the Grove coming in from Moon with an Archer being trained outside the front door of this 333 Creek Camp. Now, Death Knight, the next question I want to be asking is, how will the follow-up play be? Will these ghouls be creeping, or will the Death Knight just be harassing with perhaps a Rod of Necromancy unit? Meanwhile, we can see one Acolyte trying to get in a little bit of pressure and now get some damage onto this poor Archer. Here, Archer already taking a little bit of damage. And the Acolyte actually able to do quite a bit, but doesn't want to stick around too long, as the Keeper of the Grove will be joining in on the fight here in just a second. Already heading off to the north, going after the giant sea turtle instead. So this is a little bit of a split creep that I wasn't quite expecting. So the Keeper of the Grove will already be at level 2, trying to finish off all of these units fairly quickly here. And now we're looking at the Mantle of Intelligence picked up by the Keeper of the Grove, trying to get to level 2 before 120 perhaps heads back over. This is a split attention micro. The Archer needs to be the one that gets the last hit on all of these units, not the Ancient of War, in order for the Keeper of the Grove to gain that experience. Mantle of Intelligence coupled with a Gloves of Haste, good for the auto-attacking Moon, who now most likely will be trying to get some entangles down onto some, completely suspecting ghouls. Keeper of the Grove trying to finish off this Acolyte there. One more shot. Gonna go ahead and finish it. Nope, not finish it off. Goes after the Murloc Creep Camp and this Spider Crab here, as the Death Knight now going to be bringing on the fight as well. Death Knight does have Death Coil first. Picks up, I believe, some sort of tome right there, as the Skeletal Minions causing a little bit of problems once more. Death Knight trying to retreat back. Keeper of the Grove able to rack up a bit of damage onto that Death Knight here. Perhaps get some damage onto a Skeletal Minion and gain some experience. All right, Huntsman gonna absorb and take a little bit of damage as well. There goes a couple of ensnares down on to the Archers, as we're looking at the Murloc Huntsman and the Tide Runners. Well, the Huntsman and the Tide Runners getting finished off, but not going to be able to give level 3 to that Keeper of the Grove. Down to the south, Death Knight already with Unholy Aura, moving around fairly quickly now, as the Death Knight picks up a Staff of Teleportation and will try to, perhaps teleport on somewhere else. There's a quick shadow meld across all of the Archers. Archers able to lose aggro right there, and 120 did not buy Dust of Appearance. Keeper of the Grove will be able to rack up that damage. Are we going to see that Archer perhaps try and shadow melt? There's a quick entangle, absorbing more damage even further, as 120 comes back over and tries to finish off another Archer there. There's a quick Death Coil killing blow there, as the Archer is shadow melded off to the north, keeping track of all of these units. Death Knight trying to hang close to the trees, breaking that line of sight, as the Keeper of the Grove now, perhaps was trying to scout out and see that the ghouls were trying to clear out a creep camp away from all of the action.
The town is under siege.
Off to the north a little bit, Not real damage there. Tree of Life being built far away, but close enough to establish up that expansion here in just a moment. 120 wanted to bring these ghouls and clear out this creep camp, or do a little bit of clearing on this creep camp first before bringing the Death Knight over. I think a scouting wisp of Moon actually saw all of that unfolding, and with that little bit of additional information was able to respond. And well, you saw a lot of head fakes, counter plays being used there. Death Knight sitting at level 2, getting a little bit of squeeze plays by double archers, trying to retreat back. Meanwhile, Keeper of the Grove looking to finish off the Crab Ripper, picks up a Tome of Strength +2 for an additional, 2 strength, 50 hit points, and slightly better hit point regeneration. Death Knight healing up at the Fountain of Hell. Gonna go ahead and try and aggro the creeps, try and stop that before, but well, the Keeper of the Grove takes a little bit of damage for all of his efforts as the Death Knight now makes its way over, perhaps getting some damage onto that Keeper of the Grove there, who is actually stuck in a rather precarious spot. Is Moon going to be able to back away? Yes, he is. Meanwhile, off to the north, the Alchemist is going to be the second hero coming in from Moon. So no Demon Hunter this time around, just the Alchemist. And we've been seeing the Alchemist come and make a bit of a resurgence here in the Night Elf versus Undead matchup. Keeper of the Grove going to continue to engage here. Death Knight going after the Keeper of the Grove. Keeper of the Grove going after the Death Knight. Both sides exchanging blows. However, the Death Knight has more armor and more hit points and does more damage per auto attack. So he will be the one definitely winning out in this fight if push comes to shove. Off to the north here, Alchemist staying at level 2. Tree of Life absorbing a little bit of damage as the Death Knight wants to see if his opponent is trying to set up an expansion, and will in fact see that the Tree of Life is absorbing, is trying to root itself off in position here, down to 600 hit points and falling rather quickly as the archers finish off the Null Overseer, giving level 3 to that Keeper of the Grove. I believe Crystal Ball was picked up by the Alchemist, and that Tree of Life down to 282 hit points is on fire, but should be able to establish up an expansion here in just a little bit of time. Death Knight now looking to retreat back, has that Staff of Teleportation for quite a while and has not been able to use it. Will he be able to use it now? Death Knight down to 61 hit points and able to head back home, selling that Staff of Teleportation, perhaps wanting to pick up a potion of healing. Tech to tier 3, nearly done. 120 in a bit of trouble. Moon in an absolutely dominating position, has the expansion up, has the hero level advantage, and not teching the tier 2, tier 3, staying at tier 2 still after all this time. Tech to tier 3 by 120. Now that one will be completed in just a moment. Meanwhile, Alchemist is going to finish off this Rock Golem creep camp pretty quickly, perhaps get to even level 3 on this Alchemist here, or at least get very, very close as we see a couple of ensnares go down on those Hippogriffs. Alchemist should be able to get to level 3 here in just a moment. We are going into Hippogriff Riders, a unit that you don't see very much of as of late. Are we perhaps going to see Gargoyles or Crypt Fiends to try and web those units down? Destroyer form upgrade also being researched as well. A lot of healing going across multiple units as the medium armor coupled with the inner fire +5 armor makes it difficult for archers to finish off the Forest Troll High Priest and that Forest Troll Berserker. 43 supply over 50, 44 supply over 50. We're looking at, trying to clear out that center Ogre Lord creep camp, getting the Ogre Lord, grabbing the item. It is Unholy Aura, not the item that he was looking for, and will quickly be selling that, but at least he denied it for his opponent. We are still looking at only a single crypt here and a single slaughterhouse, and it is kind of amazing what units the undead player can produce from just those 2 production buildings. A swarmy ghouls, anti-air crypt fiends, siege healers, anti-magic air attackers, all of them from those 2 buildings. Coming back around here, Death Knight looking to finish off the Null Wardens and Null Assassins here. Lich is going to stay at level 2. Death Knight will stay at level 3, but be inching closer to level 4. Meanwhile, off to the north here, Moon taking the center expansion out completely and getting in a little bit more experience, staying at level 3 on both of his heroes. 120 hanging back, retreating just a little bit, gonna be playing close to home, perhaps being able to get a little bit of an advantage. We are getting Ghoul Frenzy as well, so those ghouls will be able to attack even further, even faster, move faster, and well, maximize their damage by closing in on that distance. Meanwhile, Chemical Raging Alchemist with Acid Bomb hoping to finish off some of these creep camps easily, as well as we see him pick up Sentry Wards. Both sides just playing a game of, well, a game of versus the computer, as Moon is continually massing up more air units. Interestingly enough, we are going into dual Ancient of Winds with dual Fairy Dragons now, and those Fairy Dragons, well, they do phase shift, making them extremely difficult to try and take out. All right, Haunted Goldmine, we see Acid Bomb right there trying to finish off many of these units. There goes another Treant as well, as we see Deathcoil Frost Nova onto that Keeper of the Grove. Keeper of the Grove could have a little bit of bad times. He's going to use a Potion of Invulnerability. No, realizes that he cannot stick around, and Moon gets out of this position here, but not before losing one Hippogriff. As the Crypt Fiends now make their way back off to the north, we are sitting at 59 supply compared to 56. 120 breaking into low upkeep as well, and both sides are just trying to level up their armies as much as possible. Death Knight very close to level 4, Lich very close to level 3, and as I say that mid-sentence, Lich is already at level 3 and Death Knight is at level 4 there. Death Knight now venturing off to the north, Lich with plenty of mana, Orb of Corruption, Boot of Quelt the Loss, faster attack speed, faster movement speed. Meanwhile, we're looking at the Fairy Dragons trying to finish off some of these Ogre Magis and the remainder of these units too. The Fairy Dragons able to finish off the Red Drake pretty quickly, even though it is currently bloodlusted with Inner Fire. That's going to get taken down, and what is the item drop here? It is going to... Is it a... I didn't see it. What is it? Did the Keeper of the Grove pick up anything useful? Scroll of True Shot Aura now, as we are looking at a Scroll of Town Portal back to try and protect Moon's expansion. The True Shot Aura giving damage bonus to the Fairy Dragons and the Hippogriff Riders, trying to rack up that damage as the Crypt Fiends have too many targets to try and web, and with so many targets to try and web down, are they going to be able to actually do enough? Fairy Dragons now going into Mana Flare mode, shutting things down for those Destroyers as they try to halt their Essence of Mana and Essence of Blight. All right, level 4 now on the Alchemist. Alchemist trying to rack up more damage again. There's a quick web down onto one Fairy Dragon, as well as the Fairy Dragon, well, is on the ground. Still has 12 armor, but able to get pierced down pretty quickly as the Destroyers trying to finish off some of these Treants too. All right, both sides fighting every which way. 51 supply compared to 50 or 60. Moon having a slight advantage and still trying to continue to press that advantage even further as the units of 120 are retreating back. Alchemist, will he be able to catch up to all of these units, trying to get in a little bit more damage? No slow poison, but an entangle enough to get the job done. 120, 45 supply. Moon sitting at 60 supply. Each Crypt Fiend matters so much, not only for the damage, but being able to have an additional cooldown for web to be able to create a little bit of separation. Players have often, or new players often ask me, how do you counter Fairy Dragons? And one of the easiest ways to counter Fairy Dragons is to make sure that once they are in that Mana Flare mode, you try not to engage while they're in that Mana Flare mode. They're going to be stuck there for a little bit of time, and if you're able to pull back, then that's even more good news. Also, being able to have an additional charge of web to bring them down and bring them closer does quite a bit of work, as well as the Haunted Goldmine gets taken down there. All right, 120 sitting at 51 supply in low upkeep hell, going up against 62 supply of Moon, who, well, is now filling up his Moonwells. Still does not have the Moonwell's blessings, which, well, has higher capacity and also fills them up that much faster. Back down to the south here, Death Knight going after the Forest Troll Berserker will be able to clean it up. 120 still sitting on one base right now, so he is getting 10 gold a second compared to Moon's 14 gold a second, but he is starting to drain out this gold mine. If he's unable to capitalize with his advantage, he'll soon find himself needing to take that center expansion, which is often very, very scary. All right, Crypt Fiend absorbing quite a bit of damage, quickly getting taken down right there. Frost Nova, Mana Flare, and coupled with a couple of webs as well. Crypt Fiends are now trying to retreat back, and how much damage can really be done? Destroyer is trying to go after all of those units. We also see Acid Bomb removing a bit of armor from those Crypt Fiends as another Crypt Fiend gets taken down. Mana Flare onto another unit there as it could get taken out. Death Knight is going to try to go after the... Nope, not going to go after that Treant, as Mana Flare is now brought online to try and protect these fairy dragons who are currently low on hit points. More Death Quells saving up some of those Crypt Fiends as they are retreating back. Once again, you can see that damage over time. Is that Crypt Fiend going to get taken down? Yes, it will. The Acid Bomb at level 2 was enough to finish off that unit. The additional armor debuff coupled and making it take more damage, coupled with the damage over time, just enough to finish off the unit. 120 looks like his expansion will be up and operational again. Already having 3 acolytes trying to saturate that gold mine, will need 2 more. Hero levels, level 4 compared to level 4. We are dead even right there. Mana Flare, Fairy Dragons coupled with Hippogriff Riders may be able to make in a bit of a play. There is, well, another Fairy Dragon could easily get taken down. 1 auto attack is all that is needed, but is not getting focused down at all. Fairy Dragon, well, perhaps living to fight another day. No, finally gets taken down. Auto attack from the Lich, I believe, finishing things off as the Chemical Raging Alchemist being forced to retreat back. All right, Chemical Raging Alchemist, even at level 4, only has a base armor of 2, so taking quite a bit of bonus damage from that Orb of Corruption, 6% bonus damage, as opposed to trying to, or being able to prevent any sort of that damage at all. 67 supply compared to 55. Lich now trying to make its way back around. Death Knight is sitting at level 5. Keeper of the Grove and Alchemist both sitting at level 4. Moon needs to find a way to close out this game as we see a couple of webs catching the Fairy Dragon back home again. Where is it? Or was it taken down? It looks like it was in fact taken out right there. Level 5, level 4. Coming back through. We are looking at dual Obsidian statues, Lich and Death Knight, getting prepared here. Meanwhile, Keeper of the Grove gets teleported back home, perhaps going to try and pick up some items. Does pick up a Staff of Preservation, I believe he already had it, and is now healed back up. Still no nature or Moonwell's Blessing, and we are now still sitting at Tree of Ages, not going into Tier 3. We are, however, sitting a Tree of Life in the center portion of the map. Moon setting up a third base as he is an absolute expansion fiend. All right, Destroyers getting healed back up. Fairy Dragon actually webbed down onto the high ground right there. Is it going to get attacked? It is, but there is quite a bit of missing going on. I don't think I've actually seen a Fairy Dragon actually land in that spot as a Staff of Preservation saves the unit. Fairy Dragon 2-1 upgrades. 120, 1-1 upgrades. Hippogriff Riders could get caught out here. There's another Staff of Preservation, but this Hippogriff Rider not going to be nearly as lucky, as it's going to get bursted down here in just a moment. Death Knight with the Death Coil to finish off and deal that killing blow. Another Hippogriff Rider going to get taken down. There it goes. Well, getting absolutely splatted. All right, so far, Ancient of War, 66, showing 66 over 90 supply. Well, experience is about the same, but it feels like 120 is starting to pick away at Moon's lead and advantage. All right, what is going to be unfolding next here? 120 trying to venture in from the north. Moon seeing that 70 over 90 supply. 2-1 upgrades versus 2-1 upgrades. Damage could be added up. Moon being forced to try and defend this location here. His army is about the same size as both sides are going to be engaging. Death Knight trying to take down that Tree of Life. 64 supply compared to 74. Moon does have the stronger economy, but what is he waiting for? Bringing over some more units as the Fairy Dragons now lead the charge. All right, there's a big Frost Nova right there to try and prevent any repairs as the Fairy Dragons are going straight after the Destroyers. Crypt Fiends could be trying to turn around and web down some of those Fairy Dragons, but not going to be enough as we are looking at a Crypt Fiend low on hit points. Scroll of Healing going to go ahead and continue to heal all of these units. 75 supply compared to 64. Destroyers still trying to retreat back from all of those fairy dragons as the Alchemist gets teleported back home as well. All right, Alchemist needs to get healed back up. Mana Flare causing a little bit of problems as the Keeper of the Grove says, you know what, I don't want to be sticking around in this fight. Crypt Fiend, low on hit points, does back away. Double Obsidian statues here, and an Ancient of War, well, venturing a little bit too far away from home, gets taken down, and now the Tree of Life may get taken down as well. Lich does have enough for a Frost Nova, shows no sign of doing it just quite yet. Dual Obsidian statues providing hit points and mana, as the expansion of Moon perhaps not going to be able to pay for itself, as the Tree of Life will end up falling. Buying some time with that center expansion. Moon gonna dive on into the bottom right hand side. There is a Nerubian tower and a Spirit tower, but the Fairy Dragons may try and will still make a play of it as we see a Scroll of Town Portal to try and back away. Both sides trading Scrolls of Town Portal, as 120 able to hold on to his expansion. 120 with a slight hero level advantage lead now on both the first and second hero, both sitting at level 5. Keeper of the Grove still sitting at level 4. As Moon transitions into Tree of Eternity, 67 over 80 supply, what is his long-term game plan? Is he trying to get further upgrades on his units once he is at Tree of Eternity? Or is it some other plan that I don't know about? Perhaps an Orb of Venom on the Keeper of the Grove. Yes, Orb of Venom on the Keeper of the Grove to try and tick some damage over time. Goblin Shredder absorbing quite a bit of damage from the Destroyer's units, and now trying to retreat back. 71 supply compared to 70. Both sides fighting their way through. Keeper of the Grove unable to use Entangle or summon any of those Treants, as things are just not looking well for this attack here. Death Knight continuing to press on in, as the Crypt Fiends are slowly able to pick away at these Moonwells. Moonwell still not showing. Well, there's that Moonspring upgrade right there, up to 425 maximum mana and better, well, fill rates again, as we see a Deathclaw trying to save that Crypt Fiend. Crypt Fiend absorbing quite a bit of damage and taking bonus 12% damage because of that Acid Bomb. All right, continuing to fight their way through. Crypt Fiends trying to back up. There's some Devour Magic taking down some of those Treants before they could actually do all too much, as the Destroyers are trying to retreat away from those Fairy Dragons. Crypt Fiends having a problem of their own, trying to take down some of these ground units, and we just see both sides suffering damage. Well, 120 looks like he's starting to take the lead here. 73 supply compared to 62. Staff of Preservation saves Moon's unit there, as we see some Crypt Fiends and some Obsidian statues trying to back away. Death Knight now sitting at level 6. No level 3 Unholy Aura as of yet. Going after the Keeper of the Grove, who stays at level 5. Death Knight stays at level 6. And all of these units trying to retreat back. There goes the Crypt Fiend, but the Obsidian statue able to break away in time. Bunch of low hit point Fairy Dragons here. Also, do note that Staff of Preservation is not going to save nearly as often, as the Tree of Eternity is making its way off to the center. The center portion of the map will also often be where players are fighting, so you may accidentally teleport your opponent closer into harm's way, as opposed to trying to get them out of harm's way. All right. Moon's use of the Moonwell, or excuse me, the Fountain of Health, very, very effective on these Fairy Dragons, being able to heal back up. Fairy Dragons need to actually swarm in a little bit closer. Keeper of the Grove sitting at level 5. Priestess of the Moon sitting, having level 1 True Shot Aura, and the Keeper of the Grove having, I guess, effectively a 0.7% True Shot Aura, as the units are retreating back again. Or 0.7 level? Lich, ready to make the charge here. Expansion. Entangling of the gold mine is currently underway. It is one base versus one base. 67 supply compared to 66. Moon showing no sign of giving up, placing down a Ziggurat directly next to the Tree of Eternity to perhaps try and establish up a Spirit or Nerubian tower and bring the home field fight here. Tree of Eternity absorbing quite a bit of damage. We see the Entangled Gold Mine gonna get destroyed. It doesn't cost anything, but it does end up buying a bit of time. Tree of Eternity down to 1,700 hit points. A couple of Wisp are lost, as well as in comes the Night Elf army flanking in from the side. There's some Devour Magic, and here we are, here we go. Here's the fight. Crypt Fiends trying to battle it back here. Fairy Dragons racking up the damage. Death Knight could be in trouble, absorbing quite a bit of damage, could be taken down here, down to 110 hit points. Potion of Invulnerability used just in time, and will be able to perhaps heal up from those Obsidian statues. Death Coil, keeping the Death Knight of 120 alive and well. Level 3 Unholy Aura, coupled with Blight, very, very fast regeneration, but he's not going to be able to stick around in this fight for very long. 120's Death Knight, if it falls at level 6, that would be a tremendous loss. There's more Web trying to take things down. Death Coil continuing to fight it up as True Shot Aura, a level 2 on the Priestess of the Moon, now with Sentinel Scouts as the Death Knight now trying to retreat back again, down to 159 hit points. 120 has to be careful, down to 92 hit points, and forcing the Scroll of Town Portal as the Alchemist could get taken down. Alchemist gets taken down by the last attack from the Lich after the Scroll of Town Portal was used. Level 5 Alchemist falls. Lich is now at level 6. No sign of death and decay as of yet. Death Knight now trying to lead the charge as well. Perhaps trying to shut down this Tree of Eternity as the entangling of this gold mine is not yet done. So many lead changes back and forth, and still no one with a clear advantage to try and close out this game. Well, I take it back. Moon down 2 heroes and going to be down this base here in just a second. But what is Moon doing? Moon is trying to put pressure inside the mining location here at the 4 or 5 o'clock position. Acolytes suffering terrible damage as the Spirit Towers try to fend off all of these Fairy Dragons, but the Fairy Dragons are just far too much. Even with Nerubian Towers here, not going to be enough to slow down this aggression and attack. Trading a main base, the center expansion for his natural. Moon realizing, wait a second, I have an expansion to give if I really want to, but it's only 3 minutes of mining left. 46 supply compared to 56. Both sides in a bit of trouble. Acolytes could be transitioned back over here in just a moment. Meanwhile, one Spirit Tower in the center, keeping track of a lot of the action. We are getting a Fountain of Health in the center here. The Fountain of Health not going to allow the Destroyers to really regenerate health freely there, as the Fairy Dragons are immune to magic and really not in any danger at all. Death Knight may want the Orb of Corruption to try and be able to auto-attack the air, as those Fairy Dragons are becoming quite a nuisance. Keeper of the Grove resurrected, I believe, at the tavern and then brought back home to perhaps drink some Moonwell juice. And now we're looking at a Spirit Tower about to get taken down. No second Orb of Venom onto the Priestess of the Moon as of yet, as I do expect that at some point, but not quite sure when that will be happening. Keeper of the Grove sitting at level 5. Level 5 on the Alchemist. Level 2 on that Priestess of the Moon. Still not level 3 for level 2 True Shot Aura for even more damage. As this Flute of Accuracy should be sold at this point in stage in the game. All right, there's a Staff of Teleportation. Keeper of the Grove going to go ahead and head back off to the north, heal up, and then perhaps, run off somewhere else. Priestess of the Moon should be joining back in on the battle. We are looking at level 2 Dark Ritual over Death and Decay, so no ultimate abilities, even though we have 2 level 6 heroes. Spirit Tower has suffered quite a bit of damage as well. Fairy Dragons 2-1 upgraded, going up against 3-1. 120 has the hero level advantage, has the experience advantage, has the army size advantage, but I can't call the game just quite yet. It's been so close on so many instances. If you're just able to take down that primary hero once more, then you can shut out your opponent's play. Destroyers quickly devouring magic on all of those treants there. Meanwhile, the Fairy Dragons off to the side have not really been able to put in enough pressure onto 120's base here. And now, what is this? We are looking at a Dreadlord third. So 120 going for a Dreadlord third with Sleep. All right, very, very rare to see a 28-minute third hero, but that's exactly what 120 is doing, hoping that Sleep catches his opponent off guard. All right, Alchemist is now finally back out onto the battlefield as well. 52 supply compared to 64. Where is Moon going to try and travel to next, and what is 120's follow-up play going to be? Fairy Dragon 2-1 upgrades, just hanging around off to the side right now. Alchemist, Priestess of the Moon, no Orb of Venom. True Shot Aura still on the Keeper of the Grove, even though he has the better variety on that Priestess of the Moon. No real reason to hang on to that item, especially with an Orb of Venom available to be purchased from your own shop for that Priestess of the Moon. to give stacking damage over time. Treants are going to go ahead and try and engage right now. Coming off to the side, there's some Devour Magic as we're looking at the Destroyers going after those units again. Obsidian statues are nearby. Goblin Zeppelins could try and pick up the heroes as the Fairy Dragons are now making their way over. Moon could be in a little bit of trouble, a little bit of delayed action on all of those Fairy Dragons, but they're finally at the party and they're ready to dish out the damage. There goes another Crypt Fiend as well, but the Alchemist falls at level 5, and I believe that is going to be it right there. The Dreadlord getting in a good sleep, catching the Alchemist out of position, and that may be all you need in order to finish things off. Mana Flare, once again, causing problems to those Obsidian statues. More damage still racking up. Death Coil is still there. Treants are now coming back over. We could see some Devour Magic as we see a big Frost Nova go down onto the Keeper of the Grove, but not enough to finish him off. Death Knight could turn back around. Keeper of the Grove down to 245 hit points. What is the Death Knight doing? Death Knight, there's a sleep onto the Priestess of the Moon. Keeper of the Grove is going to get finished up, and Moon is going to end up losing this game as the Dreadlord would sleep, able to catch Moon's heroes out of position, allowing 120 to go for the kill. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.